So let's look at the Randbetween function. The Randbetween function is an Excel function that generates random number between two specified values. The first one will be the bottom value, which is the smallest value, and the next one will be the top value, which is the largest value. From this top and bottom value, Excel will be able to generate random numbers. The bottom value and the top value tells Excel the extent to which it should go. So in this score sheet here, let's assume we have not entered their scores, and we want to generate random numbers for each of these students and for each subject here. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight the number of subjects, the number of cells I want to include. I want to insert my Randbetween. I'll highlight from mathematics to history here. I'll highlight from mathematics to history. And then let me minimize this so that I can see properly. Yes, and then highlight to, let me take it off. I'll highlight from here to here and then take it down to 150. So you can see it now. So I'll now use my Randbetween function equals Randbetween. Immediately I start typing it, I will see two options there. I'll press my down arrow and press the tab key to insert that function into that cell. So the first thing they're going to ask you is the bottom value. The bottom value is the lowest or the smallest integer value that can be generated by the function. So I'm going to put, let's say, for each of these students, I just want them to have the lowest value for anybody should be 45. And then the highest value should be, let's say, 95. And I'll close the bracket. Because I have highlighted all the cells that I want to populate these random numbers, I will not press enter, but I'll press Ctrl plus enter. And immediately, random numbers will be generated. So you can see for about 150 students, random numbers have been generated. That's not all. Since it's still selected, if you want to use this, each time you refresh it, it will keep generating random numbers. So the best thing to do is to remove the Randbetween function so that the values will remain there as a static value. If you leave these values with the random Randbetween function, every time you do one or two things, it's going to automatically generate new random numbers. So the best thing is, since it's still highlighted, if yours is not highlighted, highlight the number of cells and right click and click copy. Then go to where you have paste here. So we have different types of paste here. So you are going to paste as values. When you paste as values, it's going to copy only the value and remove the function Randbetween. So I'm going to paste it. So press my escape. So you can see that there's no function here again. So these numbers become static. So that's how to generate random numbers. There are more examples that we will need to look at. All right, let's look at this sheet here. We want to generate random dates and random time and random amounts here. So let's say we want to generate random dates. The first thing you are going to type is not Randbetween, is dates. So this will tell Excel that you want to generate random dates. So if you are entering a date, you are supposed to enter the year, the month, and the day. But instead of entering it that way, we will invoke our Randbetween function. So I'm going to start typing rand. Immediately, the two options comes. I press my down arrow and press my tab key to push the Randbetween function there. So they're asking me for top bottom, for bottom value. Remember, it's under date. So the bottom value is going to be my 2023. Remember, this bottom value, the first Randbetween function is for the year. So I put comma. Bottom value should be the lowest. Let's say 2022. And the top value should be 2023. I close the bracket. If I press my comma here, it's going to move it from the year to the month. So I'm going to invoke or bring another run between function here, run between, and then this is for the month now. So I'm going to choose the month. The smallest month should be 1, and the highest should be 12. I'm going to close the bracket and type my comma. So you can see it has moved from the month to the day. The next one, I'm going to add another run between function again, run between, and then the bottom value should be 1, and the top value should be 30. I'll close the bracket, close the second bracket. I think that's all. I press enter. So you can see it has given me some random dates. I can decide to click and copy it down. I can decide to copy it down. Some is 2023, some 2022. So I can take my cursor to this point where we have the shaded box and keep dragging it down. So let me say I want to take it down to cell A51. So you can see I've been able to generate my dates automatically. So the same thing with our time. We want to generate random time. We click time, and instead of putting the hour, the minute, and the second, I will choose my run between function. Run between function. They ask me for bottom value in time. The hour, the bottom value should be, let's say 0, and the top value should be 23. Yes, should be 23, comma. Instead of putting the minutes, I'm going to add another run between function. And then the bottom value should be 0, comma, and the top value should be 59. Let's say 59. Yes, that's the top value. Close the bracket. Make sure you do it exactly the way I am doing it, closing the bracket, the commas, and everything. Just make sure you are doing it exactly the same way I'm doing it. Then comma, the next one, it has moved to the second. So I'm going to add another run between function here. Run between function here. My bottom value should be 0. My top value should be 59. Close the bracket. So for this last one, I'll close the bracket here for the last run between, and then add another bracket. This last bracket, you can see is black. Is closing the bracket for time. Press enter. So you can see it's 4 a.m. I'll double click. Since I've already showed you the limit to which I can go, once I'm through with this one, I just need to take my cursor to that shaded box and double click it, and it's going to automatically work on it. So look at what I was talking to. Look at what I was talking about in the other sheet. You can see that the more I do this thing, the more it refreshes and changes the data. So if I want it to be static, if I want to use this data that it has generated for me, all I'll need to do, I'll copy it and paste it again back as values. Else, every time I do one or two things, it's going to refresh. So let's leave it there for now. Then for the amounts, we are going to choose another run between. This is the simplest form. So the bottom value, let's say the bottom value, I'm going to choose 40. 40,000. That's 40,000. Now, as I'm typing this 40,000, make sure you do not put, or if you are typing, make sure you do not put comma in between it, because when you put a comma in between, let's say 40 and the remaining 1,000, Excel would think that the where you have that comma is the bottom value. So just always type the digits the way it's supposed to be, just like that. So the bottom value must be the lowest value, while the top value should be the highest value. So if my bottom value is 40,000, then my top value should be something higher. So I'm going to choose 90,000, 1, 2, 3. Yes, close the bracket and press enter. So you can see it, I had already formatted it to pick $sign. Now, since I have shown Excel from my two previous columns that I want it to work to this extent, I do not need to click and drag this box. All I need to do, take my cursor, when the fat cross changes to a thin cross, double click it. Everything is going to be generated. So you can see both the first one and every other one has been generated automatically. So that's how to use the Randbetween function for date, time, and amount. So for us to make this value static, we are going to copy all of it, all of them. Let's see, copy all of them. Right click, copy, come under paste. I'm going to paste as values. So press my escape once I've done that. So you can see I've pasted it as values. It has been able to remove the function and given me static values. That means this will not change. So from this, I can now work with whatever I want, use the data to do whatever thing I want to do. Now, from this random dates we have generated, you will see that we have some 2022, some 2023, because we've selected 2 different years. What if we want to generate only for 2022? The dates we want is only for 2022. We just need a little hack. So instead of generating Randbetween for 2022 and 2023, we are just going to insert 2022 directly without using any random Randbetween function. So we're going to say equals Randbetween. No, not that. We're going to say dates. So let's assume we want to use 2022 throughout. So we're going to put 2022 instead of putting Randbetween. So we've skipped that one. No Randbetween for the year. So we'll now choose Randbetween for the month. The smallest value should be 1. The lowest value should be 12, comma, another Randbetween function for the day. The smallest value should be 1. The largest value should be 30. Close the first bracket, close the second bracket, press Ctrl plus enter. So you can see everything here is 2022. So I'm going to highlight it as usual. Let me highlight it as usual. Ctrl plus C, go to my paste and paste as values. I hope this helps. So let's see how we can use the Randbetween function to generate a random password. We want to generate random password with Randbetween. So we are going to use another function called the character function. So the character function converts the random number into its corresponding character using the character function. So that's what we're going to do. So let's get started. Equals character. So instead of putting the number, we're going to replace it with Randbetween. So let me use one character function here, 65. So the character function is going to convert that 65 to that number, which is 65, to its equivalent alphabet or something like that. So that's that. I'm going to close the bracket for the Randbetween, close the bracket also for the character function, and press Shift plus 7, which is my ampersand. I want to join it to another function, to another line of formula. I'll type character Randbetween. I'm going to choose Randbetween another one, which is 97 and 122. Close the first bracket, close the second bracket. I'm going to choose another. I'm going to add another ampersand, which is Shift plus 7. This time I'm going to choose Randbetween without choosing the character. So I just want some digits here. Let's say I want additional digits here. Let's say 5 digits. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, comma. The top bottom, let's say I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I close the bracket. I think it's one bracket there. I'm going to add another ampersand character and Randbetween. I'm going to add any number I like, 25, comma, and 50. Close the first bracket, close the second bracket, press enter. So you can see it has generated how many digits, how many numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it has generated 8 numbers. If I drag this now, so you can see it has created different random password for me. It has created different random password. I can create up to 1 million password using the Randbetween. So you can see it has created 96 or 95 because the first cell there contains the title of this column, 95, and create as many as possible. So this is 420, you can see that. So there are many things you can do with your Randbetween function, many things, I mean many things. So if you are looking for password and you do not have any password, you can use this here. Now remember that if you want to be static, if you want it to remain the way it is here, always remember to copy it and paste it as values. So there are endless things you can do with your Randbetween. So I'll stop there for now. If you have any question after listening to this video or watching this video, do let me know and I will be quick to answer you.